In the previous video, we saw how we can set up OpenAI key on OpenAI website. In this particular video, we'll learn how to connect via LangChain to the OpenAI LLMs. Now, first thing that I want to show you is, let's go here. If I go to settings, if I go to limits, I can check which all models are available to me, right? ChatGPT 4o is the latest model. It is the most cheapest as well. So that's where in my example, I've used that, right? So let's go through this notebook. What I've done in the first line is I've imported chat OpenAI class from langchain underscore OpenAI library. And then I have created an object of that particular class and I've named it LLM, right? This LLM will be our point of contact after this line onwards, right? So inside this object, what all things have I passed? I've passed in the model name that I want to use. In this case, it is ChatGPT 4o, right? If you want to try out different models, you can use GPT 3.5 Turbo, GPT 4 Turbo. There are others as well, right? Similarly, the second parameter that I've passed is temperature. Temperature defines what is the degree of creativity that we want to give to our instance of the model, right? For example, I want it to be more creative. I would want that if I wanted to write something new, right? And I would want it to be very accurate when I want to write, let's say some code, let's say when I want to translate something, I want it to give me specific translations. I do not want it to be creative and add something extra. So that's where the temperature varies from 0 to 1, 0 being least creative and most accurate, 1 being you provided 100% freedom in creativity. So here for this particular example, I'm trying to use my LLM for translation. I want it to be very accurate. So I've set the temperature to 0. Max tokens defines how many number of tokens you want to generate. Tokens is something we'll discuss in a future video, but if I have to tell you in short, tokens is how you get charged when using an LLM. So in the last video, I showed you that I had recharged with $5. So in so that $5 will slowly get depleted as I consume more and more tokens. In this particular case, I've set the value to none. I'm basically not passing anything. Timeout is, as per the name, timeout for each request. I've passed in none. Max retries, in case something goes wrong, how many number of times do I want to retry? I've set it to 2. And the last thing is the API key, the API key that we generated in our last uh, video. I've passed in I've passed that API key here. All the API keys that I've mostly generated have always started with SK. Uh, you might have similar ones starting from SK or something else. So that's all that we pass into this particular class, and we saved that class's object in LLM. Now what I'm doing in the uh, next line is I'm creating a messages object, right? So in the messages object, we need to define just two things. One is what is this LLM supposed to do, right? In this particular case, I want the LLM to be a helpful assistant that translates from English to French. And I wanted to translate the user sentence. So that's what it will do. That's what the system message is. The next one is human message, which is indicated as human. So where I'll be passing in my user message, what I wanted to translate, right? For example, I wanted to translate "I love programming" to French, right? Because in the system message we gave it translate English to French, and in the human message we gave it some text in English. Now, when we use the LLM objects invoke method, and we when we pass in the um, messages variable object, it will return us some message. Now, where is this message getting returned from? This LLM object is contacting um, the large language model that is hosted on OpenAI website, right? The GPT 4o model. and it is processing our request to convert I love programming to French, and it is returning everything into AI message. Now, if I print AI message directly, which I've done here, it will print a lot of things. I can tell you a few. First is content, which we are interested in. So content contains what we ask the uh, what we asked the LLM to do, right? We wanted it to convert I love programming to French. So that's what it did. If I just want to fetch the answer, I will just write AI message dot content, right? That's the answer that we were looking for. As a developer, you will look for other things as well. For example, how many tokens were used. So in this particular case, it says 36 tokens were used. Which model was used? GPT-4o was used, right? So all of these things, if you're working on a project in a company, you'll store these in a table, right? For logging purpose, for audit purpose. So that's where this information is useful. So this was a small guide on how to use LangChain to connect with OpenAI. See you in the next one.